What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Truzz the Bank podcast. I'm your host, McConna. I got myself Joshua alongside me. If you guys don't know, try and put these out every single Wednesday. We do segments coming from you guys in the comment section, coming from Twitter, coming from the YouTube community section, all that. So if you ever have any topics you want us to discuss, please let us know. But it's going to be posted to YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Feel free to leave comments and your thoughts on the opinions. If you're watching on YouTube, this is the first segment. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever, and you miss parts or you want to see our visual representation, Spotify, I think it shows videos sometimes, but you can check out YouTube as well. Overall, OTA started this week. Ravens are in the news. Ravens are in the news for absolutely no reason at all. They somehow find a way to talk about the Ravens. I don't know how those shows pull views. Because every week they're like, all right, let's talk about Lamar Jackson and OTAs for 9 hours today. I'm like, dude, I can talk about it for like 10 minutes tops. How many takes are there? But some good topics we're going to talk about today. Breakout players, maybe some players that may disappoint. Talk a little bit about Nelson Agholor, and then the press conference, Lamar Jackson giving the keys to the offense, what that really means for Baltimore. But Joshua, let's start it off. First off, just how you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling pretty good, man. It's always good to, record another episode, talk to the Ravens flock, the TTB family. And, it's good to know that, OTAs is here upon us, and Lamar Jackson is at OTAs. So now, like you said, what do everybody can report about now? So, I mean, hey,
Yeah. We lied. We're talking about Lamar OTAs for the next 2 hours. Just kidding. We're not. But jumping right into it, who do you have as your breakout player this season for the Baltimore Ravens?
Oh man, so if I gotta go breakout player, it would be a young man that got hurt, came back, got hurt during the season, got the surgery, and was 80 and was running the ball at 80%. And he's also in his contract year. Yeah, I'm saying it. J.K. Dobbins. I mean, for the simple fact that Todd Monken, he loves his running backs, he loves his wide receivers, he loves his tight ends. But you got to think about the years. I believe Todd Monken was there when he had Nick Chubb.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So we saw exactly what happened in Georgia with Nick Chubb. So why not expect a replica, maybe something even better with a more agile, stronger. Yeah, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say stronger J.K. Dobbins, someone that is very determined. I feel like, with the type of offense that's going to be installed and supposedly with less design runs from my QB, we finally see that 1,000-yard plus season out of my feature running back this year. So that's my breakout player prediction.
I like it. And really funnily, bringing up Nick Chubb, I made a video when Za'Darius got traded over there, and a lot of Cleveland Browns watched. Shout out to the Cleveland Browns fans that watched it. But I mentioned Nick Chubb, and I said he was like a top 6 running back in the NFL. People were mad at me. They were like, "What do you mean top 6? That's so disrespectful." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And they were like, "He's number 1." I was like, "What? You just got to throw him over Derrick Henry like that? You're going to throw him over CMC?" Apparently, Browns fans are like, think Nick Chubb is the greatest player of all time. And Todd Monken coached him over in Cleveland. So shout out to Todd Monken for that. J.K. Dobbins is an interesting one. I think, he's finally going to get that opportunity.
Yeah.
I mean, his rookie year, we were angry with Greg Roman for not giving him the ball. And I remember when we were recording the podcast, I don't even think we were on YouTube at that point. I think this was just recording the podcast. So really OG people remember the original podcast. You talked about J.K. Dobbins becoming being the number 1. You said, I think it was, week 1, he's going to be that guy. And it was very clear, funny enough, from week 1, he was like, yeah, he's the best running back on the team. And they didn't start giving, I mean, he had a game against Cleveland where I think he put up 2 touchdowns, but didn't get a lot of carries. And finally, halfway through the season, they started giving him the rock, average 6 yards a carry. But it was give him the ball. And then last year, he started off slow and I was like, okay, he's not 100%. Gets the
Right.
surgery. And people were telling me, they're like, yeah, JK sucks. You could tell he just wasn't. It was like, well, the surgery that he got didn't fix it correctly. So he told the Ravens, he said, hey, I got to get surgery on this. They were like, really? He's like, trust me, I don't feel right. Gets the surgery, comes back and is like, there's the running back. There's the second round pick. There's the Ohio State stud that we drafted. And now he has an offensive coordinator, and it seems like he's going to be the guy. He seems like he's going to be the one that dominates opposing defenses, because we've been waiting for that for a Ravens running back. We haven't had that since Ray Rice. Really?
Yeah, I mean, look, if we're being completely honest, yeah, it's been a long time.
No disrespect to Alex Collins, though.
No disrespect to the Irish dancer, at all. But I mean, when you talk about feature back, you think of the Derrick Henrys, the Jonathan Taylors, yes, even the Nick Chubb before he had to share carries with Kareem Hunt, Austin Eckler, Christian McCaffrey, and the list goes so on and so on. And those, you don't see those guys being on a carry limit neither. So I'm expecting him every game to get more than 15 carries, the least to have 150 to 200 yards. Because if he gets that in this balanced offense that's look like that's what it's going to be, it's going to not only help us with time management, it's going to wear a lot of defenses down. And that's what, in all the years that when we establish our run game, we wear the defenses down, and our quarterbacks usually just go over top. We now have some speedsters. We now got some guys that can make some incredible catches on the outside, and even get the jigging and zigging and zagging in the middle and across the field. So I feel like this definitely is going to be a recipe, a good recipe for disaster. We cooking with hot grease, in the words of Roquan Smith now.
Yeah, and it's just like he's so very obviously talented and motivated. He hated Greg Roman, which
for sure.
So did I. So did a lot of Ravens fans. He was not the only one. So did a lot of Ravens players.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, we're finally going to get to see him in an offense where he at least has a chance. Give him a fair chance. And if he doesn't dominate, so be it. I'm fine with that, but I want to give him a chance. And I think this year is going to be that chance. Whether or not he's in Baltimore after this year, I'm not a huge fan of paying running backs. But whatever happens with him, use him this year. This is the last year that you're going to get out of J.K. Dobbins on a very cheap deal. So I do like that breakout player prediction, and I want to give a shout out to the person that commented. It was John at Be More Young, J410 on Twitter. So that's where that came from. And so is the next segment as well. So I just wanted to give a shout out. Forgot to say that at the beginning. My player is Lamar Jackson.
Ooh, talk to me.
Because Lamar Jackson this year is finally going to have an opportunity to show himself as a passer. And I think the national narrative, and maybe not the national narrative, but the people that don't watch the Ravens, because I talk to them. I don't live in Baltimore, right? Like the people that I talk to, Seahawks fans, I talk to Colts fans, I talk to all these fans. And I talk to like 0 Ravens fans on the daily. Like other than on YouTube, I don't talk to anybody in person. I was one time actually walking around campus in college, and some guy came up to me and he was a Ravens fan, and we were like talking on our way to class. It was 7 a.m. He saw a Ravens fan, he started running over, and he was like, "No way, man!"
Yo, we
got each other up. We talked. We went our separate ways. I don't think I ever saw that guy again. Wish you the best, man. But I don't talk to him, and all I hear is like, just concerns about Lamar as a passer. And I'm like, dude, you ever heard of Greg Roman? This man Gregory, he was a menace. All right, he was an absolute menace to Lamar Jackson's passing, just prowess. He just would not allow him to develop, would not allow him to get the opportunities to even showcase what he can do. And Todd Monken's going to come in and let him do that. I think Lamar goes out, and I think he does throw for 4,000 yards, which a lot of people felt was never going to happen for him. I'm not saying people didn't believe in the pass, but it was like he's just going to rely on so much on his legs. I think he'll run the ball, but I think he's going to pass the ball a lot. I don't think he's breaking 36 passing touchdowns, which he had in 2019, but I think he breaks the 4,000-yard mark, and the Ravens rushing game gets a little bit more of the rushing touchdowns, but I think he's going to throw for 4,000 yards. And that is a massive jump for him. And I think that is enough for him to be a breakout player. Even though he's going to be the same skill set, he's just going to showcase that skill set and be so much more dynamic. And the Ravens offense is going to be so much better because of it.
Yeah, I love the fact that you bring that up. I mean, honestly, I was expecting you to go Zay Flowers, because everybody in the Ravens community, they say Zay gonna be that guy, and you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping so. I definitely feel like he's gonna be a great addition. Come week 1 for sure. So I mean, when you say, you can tell in the demeanor of Lamar Jackson, even the offensive players in the press conferences, and how they try to not bash or try to speak poorly on, Greg Roman, or even the play calling, or even John Harbaugh. You've seen so many different wide receivers leave this team and talk about how many plays that this offense has, but we just never use them. And they speak of their distaste on a previous offensive coordinator. So I don't know if everybody watched the press conference after the first day of Lamar Jackson's OTA. He seemed like he had all smiles, man. And when you got someone, that's all smiles, that's all about the game of football, that's all about wins, all about his guys, which he's been like that since day one, since he's taken over. It's definitely something beautiful to see, man. So, I'm looking forward to him actually showcasing his ability, because he's been standing his ground since day one, since the NFL draft, when they constantly asked him, "Hey, man, you think you want to change positions?" I'm playing quarterback. I'm going to be a quarterback. I'm a quarterback. Constantly kept on saying that, what he's been doing. He's been showing that he's a quarterback. So I'm looking forward to him continuing to showcase his skills, because he's been doing the hard work every offseason to work on those little things in regards to his passing mechanics and his game. So yeah, I can see that happening.
Yeah, I think that just overall, anybody in this Ravens offense is going to break out, really. Like basically everyone outside of like Mark Andrews and maybe like an offensive tackle or whatever. But this is a group that's been hindered in terms of half of the game. They've been advanced in the rushing attack. I'm not going to take that away.
Mm-hmm.
But in passing, we haven't got to see really anybody outside the tight ends. But